Gina the Fairy Princess by Nouchine Mazhar. The Mermaid Story. In the evening, tired of the day's events, Princess Gina and little Bob sat with Uncle Galileo in the ship's living room. "Uncle Galileo, what a beautiful sight that mermaid was!" "Yes, and I can't seem to get her out of my mind," agreed Galileo. Little Bob smiled. He was awed too. "Uncle Galileo, do tell us all you know about mermaids," said Gina. "Well, my dear, they are all stories of long, long ago. Legends, you know. There's a legend of how the mermaids were born." "Do tell us!" chorused Princess Gina and little Bob. "Well, here goes." Uncle Galileo moved his wings to find a more comfortable position in his favorite armchair. He gazed towards the floor. His eyes filled with mystery and began. "Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a beautiful girl who loved the sea. She was a human girl, with large blue eyes and blonde hair that were very long. One evening, she sat looking at the stars from her window. Her home was on a beach, and she could hear the waves all day long. Suddenly, she saw a shooting star. She had often heard people say that if you see a shooting star and make a wish, your wish comes true. "I wish a part of me would live in the ocean forever," she wished with her eyes closed. Soon she felt the sound of the waves had changed. It seemed as they were calling her name. "Merma, Merma." Merma quietly slipped out of her house and walked towards the water. When she reached the sea, the waves began to call her again, and she started swimming in the cool water. She had not remembered to tie her hair that night, and as she swam in the dark sea, she felt the salty water tugging at her hair. A long strand came loose and was carried away by the waves. A hungry fish nearby thought the hair was seaweed and gulped it down. No sooner had the fish swallowed the golden hair than it turned into a beautiful creature, having the body of a maiden and the tail of a fish. The creature swam up to the surface of the sea, and Merma saw her, just as another one of her hair came loose. This time the bewildered Merma saw another fish swallow her hair, and then transform into a beautiful creature, half human and half fish. The first fish maiden came towards Merma. So did the second, as another hair floated away. Soon Merma was surrounded by fish maidens, all so beautiful and smiling. Then, just as suddenly as they'd appeared, they vanished from Merma's view to build their own world underneath the deepest seas. Merma woke up early the next day, just before sunrise, to find herself in her bed. Quickly, she got up and went to the mirror. She looked at her beautiful, thick, long hair. It was just as it was the night before, but she was certain that the magic of last night was not a dream. She walked again to the sea. There was no one around, so she thought it would be safe to call the fish maidens to her. She started to sing. Her voice was lovely and soft. Soon the creature she'd helped create the night before was sitting around her on the rocks near the shore. "Can you speak, I wonder?" she thought aloud. "Yes, we can," they all said together. Their voice was like music, sweet music, never heard before. "Last night I wished a part of me would live forever in the oceans. I never thought how, but my wish has come true by the magic of creation." "Why don't you come live with us?" asked the fish maidens. "No," replied the sensible Merma. "My place is on land, and yours is in the seas. But a part of me will always be with you, just as I had wished." Merma could hear voices coming toward them. "Rush along now. It's too dangerous to call you here. Some humans are unkind and might want to hurt you." The voices came nearer. One of the men in the group saw the fish maidens and yelled, "Come, let's get those beauties." "Bye, Merma," said the fish maidens, realizing the time had come to say goodbye to Merma. "You'll never be lonely again. A part of you will always feel our happiness in the oceans." Merma smiled back, knowing that what the fish maidens said was true. Soon the fish maidens had disappeared. Norma sat alone on the rocks as the men reached her. "Who are you talking to?" demanded one of the men. "They were the maids of the seas, but you'll never find them now." Soon the story of the beautiful maids whom Merma had spoken to was all over town. They were spoken of by the name mermaids from that day on, as Merma was the only one they'd ever been seen with. Merma never told anyone the true story, however, at least not until she was a grandmother. Then she would sit by the fire with her grandchildren around her and tell them all the story of the mermaids. She never told them who the beautiful blonde girl was, though. But they knew.